In this video, I will show you how we can use commands in Google Sheets to calculate the mean, median, and mode, and then we will use a pivot table to show how we can calculate the mean and the median based on a categorical data set. So I'm going to take the average patient satisfaction rating and break that into the mean for the system hospitals, the mean for the independent hospitals, and the mean for the network hospitals. But before we do that, let's focus on how we can use basic commands in Google Sheets to find the mean and the median. If you've used Excel, Google Sheets is going to operate in a almost identical fashion. What we need to do is to click on a cell, any cell outside of the data set, and we want to tell or give a formula to Google Sheets and tell Google Sheets to take this column and find the average of the values in that column. And we know that average and mean are synonyms of one another. So what I would do is I will click on a cell and I'll begin to type. I will press the equal sign, and by pressing the equal to sign, it's saying this cell will equal. And then once you begin to type average, so A-V-E-R-A-G-E, you will see a few different items come up. And the one that we want is the one at the top. It says average, and it says numerical average value in a data set, ignoring text. So what this will do, once we open up a parenthesis here, is it'll take all the values in that column and it'll find the mean. So I'm going to open a parenthesis, so I'll hold down Shift and hit 9, and that will give me a parenthesis. And what we need to tell Google is what column do we want. If you don't want a column, you could select just a few values, a few individual cells, but here we do want specific columns, so maybe we want to do the pediatric 30-day readmission rate. So I'm going to go over and click on E. That will highlight the entire column, and if I press enter, I will have that value calculated for me. Now, I don't want to lose track of what that value is, so maybe right above it, I will put the mean readmission rate for pediatric patients. So now I know that that is the mean readmission rate for pediatric patients. I'm going to go down a little bit and go ahead and do the mean readmission rate for adult patients if you want to try to do that. To do that, you would press equal to, begin to type average, open up your parenthesis, select the column, and hit enter. And we want to label what this is. This is the mean readmission rate for adult patients. Okay, so far so good. Now we can also use different commands to find the median and the mode. So to do that, we're going to just go down below and I'll press equal to and I'll begin to type median. And there we go. The function here, median, appears. I will open up my parenthesis. I will select the column that I want and hit enter. And right above that, I will write median readmission rate. And this was for pediatric patients. Now I'm getting a little disorganized over here. You would probably want to organize these a little nicer. If you don't want your text to go all the way and spread into other columns, you can select the cell, go up to Format, Text Wrapping, and Wrap, and it will group everything into the same width. So I'm going to do the same thing for these two cells. So I'll highlight them, go to Format, Text Wrapping, Wrap. And so if we can do the same thing once again, if we want to do the median readmission rate, so the median readmission rate for adult patients. Below that, I'll have equal to sign. I'll begin to type median. I'll select the column and hit enter. All right. Now the last thing we want to do is mode. And you guessed it, you can hit equal to, begin to type mode, select the column that you want, and we will get I'm just going to write mode for pediatric to abbreviate. And you can do the same thing for the adults. This is mode for adults. Now, in both of these instances, we actually do have a mode. If you don't have a mode, you will get a return that says it'll be an error. So I know for a fact that the hospital column doesn't have a mode. So let me just show you what you get. So if you do mode and then select this hospital column, you get the # not available. So that's telling you there is no mode. So these commands can be used if we want to find the mean, the median, and the mode for columns. Or even if you just wanted to select certain rows, you can do that as well. What we want to be able to do is also have Google calculate the average. Suppose we want to have the average patient satisfaction rating, but we don't want the average patient satisfaction rating for all hospitals. We want to break that into the different type of hospital. So what is the average patient satisfaction rating just for system hospitals, or just independent hospitals, or just network hospitals? You can do that by using the pivot table. So I will click anywhere in the data, go up to data, and select pivot table. Now the values, if you recall when we were doing this for creating a frequency table, we selected values and it matched the category that we were interested in. But what we want to do now is to look at the average, but the average patient satisfaction rating. So the values that we want to look at are the average patient satisfaction rating. And we want to summarize. We don't want the sum of all of them. We want the average. So now what we need to do is select the category that we want. We want to find the average for what groups, what categories. So whether you want it in columns or whether you want it in rows, maybe I'll do rows. We want to take the average patient satisfaction rating and break that based on the type of hospital. So now here we go. We have independent hospitals. The average patient satisfaction rating was 6.6625. Network was about 6.8, and the system hospitals about 6.9. And it also gives you the total. It gives you the total of 6.8125. We can do the same thing with median. So if you want to change the average into the median, it will give you the median. But with this pivot table, it's really nice. We could actually have both, the average, the mean, and the median. So what we can do is add another field where we want the average patient satisfaction rating, and we want to change that to average. So now what we have is we have the median of all those ratings based on the type of hospital and the average of all those ratings based on the type of hospital. So now we can compare all of these.